here in round number 1. That's the defense of Calderon.
On the part of Mayol, what he did was looked at those tapes against Cáceres when Ivan Calderon fought him and said, that's the kind of fight I need to make against him. But I really feel that if I hit him with my good shot, he's not going to be able to take it. So we'll see if that plays itself out in Barter Calderon. Again, he's going to be the slick one.
Well, you know, you talk about the slickness of Calderon, and he is slick, but Mayol is mighty slick himself. He's got a little bit of reach advantage, and he's trying to use that. And so far, Calderon's jab has been short. He was wild with the left hand, and then wild with the right hand, and then he had to hang on. And Luis Pabon, the very excellent referee here, has to separate the two.
And look, you get to see right there, typical Calderon. Hit and get out, hit and get out.
Hit and grab in this case. I mean, you know, 2 minutes have gone. Who's won this round? Very difficult to score this so far, as was the first fight. Carlos Colon of Puerto Rico, Dr. Ruben Garcia of Texas, and Julie Lederman of New York, all excellent judges are scoring this, and it takes 100% concentration when you can fight as close as this. Man, I can't separate the two. Mayol attacks and hangs on. Calderon attacks and hangs on.
2 cuts again for Ivan Calderon. So,
did he get a shot?
Yeah, he got a shot. He got a shot. It was a right hand.
Well, and that's the only punch that's really landed in this round.
Because up to now, the referees had more cleaner shots separating them. And you know, these boxing fans in Puerto Rico, they understand boxing. They know boxing. They know how slick these guys are.
Very quick counter punch by Calderon. So I don't know if Mayol has actually landed anything yet, but you know, based on that one punch, perhaps Calderon gets that one 10-9. Because you know the judges aren't going to score it even. So round number 1 is in the books, and this is going to be a boxing match. Again, hopefully we won't see a clash of heads, but they're going to come together, I'm sure, before this is over, because it's not going to stay a boxing match like this. At some stage, and Calderon will probably dictate that, at some stage this will turn into a war, even if it's just a flurry of 15 to 20 seconds.
And then you see the guy directly in front of Mayol is Jesse Arevalo, giving him instructions right there.
This guy's not even breathing heavy.
No, these guys can go 25 rounds like this. Here's some of the action in round number 1. Calderon trying to stay out of, there's that good left hand. Right down the middle right there by Ivan Calderon. One of the few clean punches in that first round. Both of these guys very quick.
So if you're judging the first round, I mean, with one clean punch, could that be the difference in it? This is round 2. We're at the Coliseum of Puerto Rico in San Juan. Bob Sheridan here with Benny Ricardo. Glad that you could be with us, watching around the world, across the nation of America on pay-per-view. Glad that you're with us.
Look at that right there, 5 feet tall. Calderon making himself 3'6".
He's trying to. You mentioned Pernell Whitaker. Nobody was better at it than he was, getting way down there like that. Pernell would actually go down so low sometimes you think his rear end would almost touch the canvas, and you know, if anything but the bottom of your shoes touches the canvas, it's a knockdown. So Pernell was lucky that never happened to him, but that's a sense of really strong legs and thighs to be able to do that.
Also a southpaw too.
Yeah.
Mayol recognized ahead of time how tough it was going to be to hit Calderon, so he was ready to go the distance.
I don't know what Pabon was telling him there. He had a little bit of a slip on the logo in the middle of the ring.
He hit him in the thigh.
Yeah.
That's really going low.
But he did,
5 foot guy.
Yeah, he did slip in the middle of that. Round number 2. You like real good boxing, you're seeing 2 very, very good boxers. The heads came together that time, and Luis Pabon of Puerto Rico saying, watch yourself, watch those heads.
And again, folks, watch the feet right there. Watch the feet. It's very, very important para Calderon to stay outside the left foot of Mayol, and the same thing for Mayol. So it's going to be a battle of the position of the feet to get the good punching angle.
And the heads came together again for the second time in this round, and this is what I feared coming into this fight, that, you know, that something could happen with those clash of heads again. And some of the problem, Benny, and then the heads came together that time again, and Mayol's like complaining. Neither one of the guys means for this to happen. when the front feet get caught up, if Mayol steps on his foot and Calderon is pulling back, it actually, Mayol's body falls forward and their heads come together. Mayol is a shorter guy, he lifts his head up when he comes in, the heads come together. And of course, Mayol will tuck his head when he comes forward.
And he's got to come forward. Again, being that he's so small and he's got the reach advantage. But that's where I think Calderon has an advantage there. He's able to cock so much quicker than Mayol is with those long arms. That's a 6-inch reach advantage. No, I'm sorry, an inch and a half.
Yeah, but it looks like it because the way he has that shoulder stepped in there, and of course it's so obvious the difference in height that it looks like 6 inches.
Yeah, it seems a lot more, especially with the wider shoulders too.
Mayol continues to force the action, but this is the way Calderon fights. He picks his shot.
10 seconds.
Mayol celebrating because he just grazed one shot.
Well, he's missing a lot of shots. Boy, these are tough rounds to score.
I'm going to go with Calderon again. I've given him the first 2 rounds.
So have I. So have I.
And again, you know, you go to effective ring generalship, the things that Calderon is doing, an excellent defensive position, very hard to hit, yet is still throwing enough punches, I think, to be able to go ahead and win the rounds. On the part of Mayol, it's like you can't hit something you can't see. And that's what it's boiled down right here, the tremendous quickness of Calderon.
You know, Benny, I want to point something out to the viewing audience. Well, because we had a fight in Houston a short time ago where there was a lot of criticism because one judge had it one way and another judge had it another way by 3 or 4 rounds. And that can happen. I mean, I go to the conventions, I go and I watch. Anybody can score the clear 10-9 round. Anybody at home or here. But when you get the close, first 2 rounds of this fight have been close as we watch the replay here.
Here's the head clash. Right there.
Yeah,
great job by our camera people.
Great job, Director Victor Begay. Great job in the staff getting that for us, our replay guys. But anyway, continuing on with that thought as we go to here to the 3rd round, 40% of professional judges disagree in the close 10-9 round. Therefore, you can have it one way or the other. And as I told the fighters, you know, this thing's going to be close. It's your responsibility to make that an easy 10-9 round so that, you know, if you leave it in the judge's hands, it's in the judge's hands.
Absolutely.
And you can't blame them when it's over. And that needs to be explained to the audience that, you know, in a fight like this where these rounds are close, it can be controversial, and it's not controversial. It's just the way, you know, different judges see a different round, and they are at different angles. And you know something, 95, 96, 97% of the time the judges get it right anyway.
Absolutely. And you see constantly Mayol stalking Calderon, trying to find the range, but you could just see how tough it is. Great anticipation on the part of Calderon. That's probably his greatest trait, that great anticipation of seeing that punch coming.
Well, Mayol is finally, he landed a right hand in there, but you know, the scoring too for the judges is on effective aggressiveness. Yeah. And while Mayol is very aggressive, you know, look at the amount of times he misses. There's 3 since I started that sentence.
And folks, that takes a lot of energy out of a fighter to miss cleanly that way.
You know, he's thrown the last 6 or 7 punches he hasn't landed. So that's, you know, it's fine to be aggressive in 7, 8, 9. So, and then he's tied up. So there he threw 9 punches and nothing landed. That's Calderon's defense. We finally got him to the body. And on the inside, Pabon warns him, hey, he was hanging on. And that goes down to the old thing, protect yourself at all times.
That's the instructions. And you know, if it's there, take a shot at it.
Look at Calderon, brilliant slick defense.
And you talk about strong legs. That takes some real strong legs to be able to do that.
You know, and this is why some people compare this guy with Finito Lopez. I think offensively Lopez, you know, showed a little bit more than Calderon, but defensively it's hard to see anybody any better than him.
And a low shot.
Is he warning?
I don't think is he going to warn it?
There wasn't a warning.
No, there was no warning, no.
He finally loaded up the left hand, which is a power shot for the southpaw, but it fell a little bit short. Then it short first right hand on the inside. And Calderon, if he's winning these rounds on the judges' scorecard, it's only by a punch or 2 because the other guy just can't land anything.
But then look at the expression right now. You look at the expression on the face of Mayol. He looks like a frustrated fighter right now.
He is frustrated. You have to be when you throw that many punches and you can't land.
And he's tightening up, too. He's tightening up and getting very, very frustrated.
Well, he got a jab through that time, and finally he landed a punch.
Right down the pipe went Calderon.
But it was the left hand. Usually the right-handed fighter, you know, fighting the southpaw wants to throw the right hand down the middle, but he finally got his left through. I don't know. I can't give that to Mayo.
I'm giving it to Calderon also.
And I'm looking for a reason to give it to him. Well, we got 3 in the books. We think that Calderon has won all 3 of the first rounds, but they're very, very close rounds. And in the case of at least one of the rounds, there was only one punch that we could even score.
There you see in the corner right there, Jose Sanchez, who's been with Ivan Calderon for 16 years, all the way to the amateur. Also in that ring with him, Felix Pagan Pintor. 60 world championship fights he's now working.
But he